Hello, everybody, and welcome to today mindset call. I gave a little brief warning this morning that I wanted to go on this call today, and I like to title this call "The Life That You Want." And actually, I was watching something with Oprah last night. I'm a part of our daily inspiration, and so it's something I want to incorporate based on our research and things that I personally believe myself, and hopefully that can help you here to really break through some of the things that you not might not be aware of. So first of all, one of the things I always say is that that what you have is now, right? What is past is past. What is future is not here yet, so you don't know. What you have is right now. And what you need to do is shift your energy in what you want to achieve right now, where you stand. I always say that goals are great, but they're also moving targets, because we don't know what the future is going to hold. And we're going to move into different things, and we're going to have a different life that we don't even know or respect yet. So keep your goals there, work on your goals. I'm not saying that, but also don't miss the now, because you're always thinking of the future. I always tell my financial advisor, I said, yes, of course, I want to plan for retirement, I want to do that, but I'm not going to sacrifice my life now for something I don't even know when and if I will achieve it. So with that said, is slow down. That's the main thing I want you to say, is slow down. I think most of us are busy at doing so much already, right? We're busy being busy with life, and you don't take the time to really enjoy the small things that happen to you every day. And even in business, you feel like in real estate, oh, there's so much to learn, there's so much to do, there's so many things out there that I need to master, where it's really you complicate things. I was on a call with students an hour ago, and I was telling them, I said, you guys complicate things too much. You read it, you try to read between the lines, and I know you're afraid that you don't know, you don't know. But the thing is, don't overcome. Keep things simple. I always say the simplicity scales, complexity fails. So keep it simple. Okay. So I want you to slow down and start observing things as they're happening around you. And take attention in that way, in that matter. One of the things I always say to my students as well is to keep a journal for real estate. And at the end of the day, journal what you've done as far as real estate. So, for example, there are 4 different questions that I give them in the journal, kind of prompts. But one of them is like, okay, what have I done today? What I learned from what I did today. What do you think I will do different in the future? Right? So you wanna learn, and the fourth one is about the bullet points of lessons that you've learned that you want to do different in the future. And so you journal, so you become very aware of where you are right now or what you're doing right now, so it can help you to do something different and better tomorrow, right? But you want to pay attention to what you're doing right now. So for me to keep a journal at the end of the day, especially as you're learning this new enterprise, is so crucial for you to learn from your own experience, from your own mistakes, from aha moment you're going to have as you're actually implementing what you're learning. So how do you find the moments to slow down? Because another thing it is, when your energy shifts, the whole world around you shifts without you having to do anything about it. And this is so crucial you learn that. When your energy shifts, everything else shifts around you. We're seeing life through this lens, through these glasses that we created for ourselves. It's and like Einstein said, basically reality is overrated, right? Reality is what we make of it. A small thing, like the butterfly effect, right? And a small thing can shift everything else around it. But the magic happens, and when you shift your energy, you're going to shift your energy around you of everybody that you encounter or you're going to connect. So just imagine now that if you shifted your energy of what you're doing right now, today, and then you're going to pick up the phone and you're going to call the prospect, or you're going to text You're going to do something, but from a different point, being very aware where you are, being aware of what you're doing right now, and having that realization that you shift your energy. Imagine how is that going to transmit there. Things are going to happen almost by serendipity. You're going to have a control of situation in your life that you don't even imagine. I was talking with my daughter yesterday, Liz, and I was sharing with her the fact that it's I because I'm very much in tune. Obviously it came from years of doing this practice and exercises. But I went to her house a couple of days ago and I told her something that was going to happen that she didn't even expect. She even bid, we even had a bet. And I told her within 24 hours this is going to happen. And she's like, yeah, I bet you it is not. So we bet $75. So originally it was 50, but then we upped it to 75. And it did. And so she's like, oh my God, now I owe you 75 bucks. But the thing is, I was in tune with that energy, right? And that impacted our own life, everything. So think about that, how that can transmit that. For the same reason I was sharing with some of my students today, they were saying that, one of my students was saying that, she was putting contracts out there. But her expectation as she went into it was that whoever was going to be on the receiving line was not going to look at that contract because it was ridiculously low. And I said to her, what if, I personally, what I do is, I don't want to put too many contracts out there because what if they all get accepted? So I come from a different thing. It's like, and I have these contracts and I'm going to put in batches every day. But I come from, okay, I don't want to put too many out there because I don't want all to get upset, and then I have the logistics of getting all these contracts finalized, title companies and so forth. So, it's because of how I believe differently. I believe that I am going to get all these contracts accepted. I am going to have it, I have organized, and I visualize in my mind how this is happening. But it all's about is shifting the energy around me. And how do you do that? It's that small things every day. Slow down. Okay, take the time really to observe what you're doing in the moment. If you're sitting here, I'm sitting here at my desk right now talking to you. That's what I'm focusing on. I'm not focusing what I'm going to do in 10, 20 minutes, 30 minutes from now. That's inconsequential. I'm focusing in talking to you right now. I'm focusing in hopefully transmit this energy to you that's going to make a lasting change in your life. Then when I'm done with you, I'm going to go the next step. One thing that might help you also is break your day in segments. Okay, so what I do is I have a segment. I have a segment for breakfast in the morning. I have a segment where I take my dog for a walk. I have a segment where I sit at my desk and organize my day. I have a segment where I have my Teams meetings, so I break everything in smaller segments and then I focus on that particular segment for the day. And that helps me to really be present in that moment. And so the thing is, when you slow down, okay, you're going to actually live your life instead of watching your life. And there was a good example when I listened to the call last night with Oprah. It was saying it's like taking a train. If you take a train through Europe, I'm from Italy originally, right? So I can definitely relate to this. And trains there are really good. You travel everywhere by train. But, when you take a train, let's say you want to go, from Venice to Rome, and you pass all these amazing cities, but you see them by the train, you never stop or slow down. Okay, got to Bologna, got to Florence, you pass this train, you see from the window, it's great, but you don't savor them. But if you stopped in the cities, if you stopped in Bologna, if you stopped to Florence on the way to Rome, which by the way, that's how the train does it. But if you stop in the cities and then you get off the train, right? And you actually spend time walking the city, looking at the colors, smelling, eating the food in the city, the wine, you take the time to savor the city. It's a total different experience. First of all, you're going to have more of a lasting impression in you in your life than just going by the city in a train, right? So that's the same thing, is that you want to stop in life, take these small stops throughout the day so you can actually live life instead of just watching life as a passenger. So, and so you have to find places or times to remove yourself from the noise. One of the things I say, for example, for me, is going for a walk, having an audiobook or a podcast, listening, taking my dog for a walk. She loves those walks. And then during this time, really focusing on the moment, listening to the podcast, absorb. And then also, if I do an audiobook, I use the bookmark sequence in the audiobook. So I just click the bookmark, all the stuff that really resonates with me. And then when I come back home, or when I sit at the park bench, I take a little journal with me. I sit at the park bench and I reflect on those points. And I'm really grateful for being there in the moment, and grateful that those points actually resonates with me. I'm present there doing that and thinking about it and meditating about it. So that's so powerful. And the other thing is, you have to put a feeling behind everything you do. So, if you go there and you observe what a beautiful day is, and the flowers and the smell of the flowers, but also put a feeling behind it. So, like where I live, when I go out in the evening after 8, 9 o'clock, there is this plant, there's flowers in my backyard that have this amazing perfume that comes in every night. And so last night I went out there and I smelled the perfume, and I have a swinging bench, swinging thing on my front door. And I sat there and I just really smelled and noticed the night and the warm air and everything. I live in South Florida. And so the thing is, I really was present in the moment, right? I was absorbing that. I wasn't thinking of anything else. So to take that and remove yourself from the noise and enjoying those moments, it just creates room in your mind, in your life, for new things. See, that's the thing we have. We're too busy about putting all these things in my life and doing all these things and run, where you have no room for new things. You have no room for better things coming through your life. And so that's why you have to realize that, you have to slow down so you can make rooms for something different. A lot of time I share this story about a big shift I did back in 2015, where I had to do some major decision and changes in my life, in my personal life, and so forth. And I went on a trip, and I went to Mount Olympus in Greece, right? I went in Greece, and the last day I stopped at Mount Olympus, and how appropriate, right? Having some big shifts on Mount Olympus. But anyway, I was hiking on top of Mount Olympus. There is this beautiful paved hike. It was really nice. And there was these waterfalls with these pools of water. And I remember standing there, and there was this ray of sunshine that came in through this waterfall. It was just gorgeous. And I was really in the moment. And so I got this inspiration. You see, that's the thing that happens. When you live in the moment and you're really present, you get these amazing breakthroughs and inspirations. And so I got this inspiration that I was going to go back home. I was taking the flight that evening back to the States. I was going to go back home, rent a huge dumpster, one of those, huge roofing dumpsters, and put it in my driveway. And I was going to take everything out of my house that I didn't want and throw it in the dumpster. And so I went home, and anything of value, I sold it. Anything I didn't want, I threw it in. 17, 18 years living in this house, I had so much stuff. And by doing that, I made room. And within a week, I had some amazing things happening in my life. I mean, on a personal level, on a business level, and everything. And it was just like, oh my God, it was so crazy. It gives me goosebumps just to think about it. But I made room for new things. So when you slow down, when you live in the moment, when you give attention to that, you make room for new and better things to happen, right? So it raises your energy, it raises your expectations, it makes you more happy, because now you feel like you can breathe instead of being overwhelmed, and that makes room for what you really want in your life. So to have the life that you want, it's not necessarily doing more things, it's actually doing less things. Very important here is actually doing less things, but doing the things that matter to you. And that's going to open up more opportunities. That's going to create really the life that you want. And so I'm very careful, even with real estate. I teach in my students, do what matters. Keep things simple. Complexity is going to fail. You're going to go overwhelmed. You think you have to do all of this to be successful. Trust me, you don't. Keep it simple, because simplicity, you can scale it and build it around the life that you want. So commit to do something, one thing right now, to make a drastic change in your life. So maybe you say, I'm going to take 1 or 2 hours extra every morning to really take the time to go out there for a walk, think, appreciate being out there. Eventually you're going to have all your day like this, but like I said, right now start with a small segment throughout the day and master that. So I'm going to really master how I'm going to get up and how I'm going to embrace my day and how I'm going to enjoy being here right now. And then once you've mastered that, then add another segment. And now I'm going to master how being present here and working on what I need to do, my to-do list, is going to be important for me right now. Now I'm going to master the segment that when I sit down and I make the phone call to these prospects, I'm actually going to be so in tune and so excited about it, because I will have more deals and leads coming in that I know what to do with, and I'm going to do it right now. So see how that breaks down. Instead of thinking you're going to make a big shift, but you focus on one thing that you're going to change. You put your feelings behind it, your expectations, you're being really excited about it, being eager. Don't feel like, oh, it's such a dread, I don't want to do this, right? No, be excited about it, and then you're going to see the shifts happening. And we're not talking months or years, we're talking hours, minutes. The things can happen for you once you find that power of living the life in the now. So I know this was a little longer than usually my mindset, so hopefully though I gave you some good pointers. What do you have to lose but just to try what I just said to you? If you say, I don't know about that, what do you have to lose, right? At this point, try it. And you might be very surprised. I'd like you to actually add in the comments here, if you do that today and tomorrow, and just try it, just try it. And then I want you to share with us what shifts happen in your life, okay? So that you can take the information that we're teaching you this week in the masterclass and apply that with this newfound way of doing things, of being present in the moment. And all of a sudden says, oh my gosh, this is just amazing. All these doors open up to me. I'm in a total different place. And you will see the transformation in your life. So thank you for listening to this. And I'm hoping this helped you. For anybody here that's just jumping in the last few minutes, please go back and listen to the recording. Share in the comments. I want you to share in the comments what immediate changes you've seen after you start doing this practice today and tomorrow. And I would love to hear from everybody. Take care, and I'll see you on tomorrow masterclass.